Welcome everybody. Hi, I'm Rick. Rick, the sound guy. Tales from the Road, stories about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. We're here to learn about all the fun stuff that I did in my youth on the road with bands like the Butthole Surfers and Scatterbrain. Some crazy times, so stand by for tons of stories. Here we go. Well, let's talk about the time that I watched a girl light her hair on fire in the back of a police car. Like, no kidding. Crazy, crazy scene. I was on the road with Scatterbrain, and we were at a famous, semi-famous heavy metal sort of rock club somewhere, Orlando probably. I was standing at the door with talking to the doorman, and there was a police officer there, and which was standard. The cop was always standing outside. It was a heavy metal, hard liquor, heavy metal bar. I mean, that place probably saw some shit go down regularly. So there were two young women who walked up and were talking to the door guy and myself. I was just there talking to the door guys and the cop who was standing there and getting ready for the doors to open and get ready for the show, Scatterbrain show. And these two girls were just chatting up the cop, and I was talking to the door guy, not paying much attention. And suddenly, one girl, the more petite of the two, just hauled off and slapped her friend. I mean, just an open-handed pop. And, we were all a little bit stunned for a second. And the cop sort of reacted first and, reacted really strenuously. Grabbed her and said, "Hey, you can't do that." And tried to get a hold of her and, was trying to grab her and yelling at her. And she was a small girl, and she was in a black leather jacket, a black leather biker's jacket, oversized, what have you. And he was trying to get a hold of her, and she was trying to stay away from him, and so they were scuffling, and pretty soon they were on the ground rolling around, and he was trying to tase her, but he couldn't because of the thick leather coat on her, and they kept rolling around, and eventually he subdued her. It probably wasn't very long, maybe 20 seconds or something. It seemed like forever. His cop is rolling around with this tiny girl, and so he subdues her, gets her in some cuffs, and gets her into the car. His car is literally parked right there, 25 feet away from us. It's right by the front door of the club. Well, when this got really crazy is when the cop got her in the back seat finally, and he started stepping away from the car, walking back towards us, trying to get himself together. He was all tore up. All this shit was all fucked up. Cops were put a bunch of stuff on their belt, and these guys like trying to get adjusted, and he's paying no attention. And the girl had a lighter in her pocket or whatever, and managed to get her hands in front of her. However, whether she slipped the cuffs or was a contortionist or whatever, but I looked over at the car, and it was the bright orange in the back of the car, and she was like holding the lighter literally to her hair, holding her hair up, lighting her hair on fire. And I was like, dude, the cop, I said, like, she's on fire. And, the cop was like turned around, startled, and again, rushed the door and opened it and, yanked her out of there. And then it was a total scuffle, you could smell burning hair. It's like, oh my God. And so he finally got her subdued, there. Another police officer came, a female police officer came, and it was just wild. The girl was just screaming, wild woman, and they could just barely subdue her. And eventually I just walked away and went back to the bus. Said, "Wow, man," and it's like, I think I had some PTSD for a couple of days or something. I was shook, man. I mean, how often do you see somebody light their hair on fire? There you go. So, welcome to the wacky world of Tales from the Road. Stay tuned for the next.